Diving deep into a role is one thing, but sustaining permanent injuries because of it, that's a whole nother level of dedication. Welcome to Beyond the Screen, I'm Nate, and these are 10 celebrities permanently destroyed their bodies for a role. Number 10, Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is a two-time Academy Award winner and has garnered a reputation for pushing the boundaries when it comes to his craft. Hanks has reportedly proven himself to be a big screen giant time and time again. One of my favorite Tom Hanks performances is genuinely in the film Castaway. I've seen this movie too many times to count, and one thing that always stuck out to me as both impressive and nerve-wracking was just the dramatic shift in Tom's physicality between the beginning of the movie and the end. The story follows Tom as a FedEx system analyst named Chuck Nolan who gets stranded on a deserted island for 4 years, relying on nothing but his wits to survive. Well, wits and some of the random FedEx packages that wash up on shore. Tom actually shifted his weight twice for this movie, initially gaining 50 pounds during pre-production to properly portray the run-of-the-mill FedEx guy. Following the first half of the film, the crew actually took an entire year off for Tom to lose weight and grow out his hair. In the years following the film's release, Tom claims that losing and gaining 50 pounds took a massive toll on his physical and mental health. He claims that when Wilson the volleyball was introduced on set that he could genuinely hear responses coming from the ball. Like, that's not good. All the weight loss caused him to fall deep into his role, never having a day off throughout production, but he then revealed that the role left him with type 2 diabetes, something that he claims to just be a part of the gig. Maybe for Tom Hanks, but not for anyone else in the acting world. Number 9, Chris Evans. It's difficult to imagine anyone else in the role of Captain America other than Chris Evans, but fun fact, he almost turned down the role for the simple reason that at first glance he just thought this was going to be a poopy movie. Only he didn't say poopy. But as soon as he was on board, he embraced this character, Steve Rogers, especially the more physical aspects like partaking in his own stunts on Captain America: First Avenger. Over the years, Chris has always been thankful that Captain America's powers exist in the realm of things that people can actually do. His stunts mostly just involve some action sequences and light wire work. Unfortunately though, in Captain America Civil War, those limits were tested when Chris attempted a stunt that saw him holding a helicopter back from takeoff with his bare hands. The scene was filmed in the first week of production, and Chris actually had obliterated his arm during the final take. It was a fake helicopter, of course, but according to Chris, it was drifting out of control and it jerked his arm and it tore something in his muscle that he claims is still messed up to this day. Number 8, Jackie Chan. First and foremost, can we just take a moment to appreciate this man? Okay, he is a gem of a human being. Jackie is an opera legend, but you might know him best as the most incredible action movie star that's ever lived. Not only does Jackie do all of his own stunts, but the stunts have involved everything under the sun, from jumping through small gaps in walls to tumbling off of moving vehicles. Jackie has put his life on the line just for our amusement time and time again. Now, despite appearing to be okay on the outside, Jackie has actually sustained a ton of injuries over the years that have left him dealing with some major health issues. He has broken half of the bones in his body, he's been swatted by Bruce Lee, but he suffered a life-altering injury during the production of The Armor of God. During a scene where he is drinking no-no juice and performing a quick escape, Jackie decided that one take was not enough. Not only did he do several takes, but he was drinking real no-no juice to get into character. The more takes he did, the dizzier he became, and during one take he slipped and hit his head on a rock. This left him with a massive hole in his head and being rushed to the hospital for an emergency surgery. They planted a plastic plug in his skull to keep things in place, and despite that, he continued to perform and still does. What a great man. Number 7, Bruce Willis. The Try Hard franchise is considered to be one of the best action series to date, and I know that's not the title, but I'm not allowed to say the real one. Starring Bruce Willis as John McClane. The first film is a wonderful Christmas action movie. Yeah, it's a Christmas movie, argue with me all you want. Of course, one prop that is heavily featured in this film is an array of machine pew-pews that are constantly going off left and right. Now, misfires and mistakes can be made, but on this set, one decision was deliberate and it left Bruce Willis missing 2/3 of his hearing. It's rumored that the director John McTiernan used extra loud blanks while filming to make things feel more realistic and to create a dramatic sound. Now, this was fine when you're filming outside in an open room, but for the scenes that took place in close quarters, over the years it was revealed that the on-set props and their loud noises left Bruce 75% deaf in his left ear. Considering the historical significance that these films have, being some of the best and most action-packed films ever, it's well worth the hearing loss for sure. Number 6. Hugh Jackman. Another iconic Marvel celebrity is of course Hugh Jackman as the Canadian rage machine Wolverine. Now considering he was playing the character during a time when practical superhero effects weren't, completely polished, it's no surprise that Hugh Jackman sustained a ton of injuries while playing this character. During production of the first X-Men movie, Jackman injured his nether regions after getting caught in a stunt harness. According to Hugh, the pain was brutal and he recounts screaming at the top of his lungs. Except they kept filming, believing that his cries were some primordial instinct that Wolverine was releasing from within. Yeah, even when this guy screams in real life, it's epic. During production of X-Men 2, he discovered just how dangerous his prop claws could be. While playing with the real metal props, he accidentally sliced his skin next to his eye and his upper thigh, leaving a scar. According to Hugh, the slice came while filming a scene in his birthday suit, and as he turned a corner, he saw a group of female crew members and just kinda instinctually went to cover his no-no zone. But he accidentally sliced himself in the process. At least it was his thigh and not something else. His Wolverine. I probably can't say that online, but oh well. External injuries weren't the only thing he got though. It turns out that growling and screaming for over 15 years really takes a toll on you. He claims that he now has a permanent gruff to his voice that would horrify his drama school vocal teacher. Number 5. Christian Bale. Christian is a very versatile actor, having been in movies like American Psycho, Dark Knight, and The Machinist. Now, we're going to be discussing a few key moments in his transformation career, but let's chat about the first major physical change. For his role in The Machinist, Christian had dropped a ton of weight. He had recently gained a bit of weight and muscle for his role in American Psycho and maintained it right up until he was casted in The Machinist. For the role, he lost 120 pounds despite only being 190 when he started filming. Weighing only 70 pounds throughout the production took a massive toll on his body. He was tired and worn out after only a couple of hours on set. But it wasn't enough for him to skip the role of a lifetime, and following the end of this film, Christian was forced to gain back every single pound he lost, including his muscle mass, to portray Batman in Christopher Nolan's trilogy. With each subsequent movie, he lost more and more weight, right up until he starred in American Hustle, doing a complete 180, and by the time production began, he had reached 230 pounds. According to Christian, he drank melted ice cream and ate garbage for weeks just to gain weight fast. Following his most recent shift in weight for Thor: Love and Thunder, he admitted that his doctors advised him to avoid any more dramatic weight shifts because it's starting to seriously destroy his health. Thankfully, prosthetics and CGI are so good that he should never have to do it again. Probably will for fun. For number 4, Christopher Tyree. So for this entry, we are taking a break from the silver screen for a second, and I just want to talk about Broadway, okay? That's right, Marvel attempted to dip its toe into the world of theater a few times, but this was the biggest mistake they ever made. Spider-Man: Turn Off the Dark was a live stage musical retelling of the origins of Spider-Man. It included elements from the first 2 Sam Raimi movies, as well as a heavy theme based around the Greek myth of Arachne, which I'm not gonna get into because it's pretty dark. Let's just say the myth ends with a woman turning into a spider. Anyway, so there is this aerial stuntman named Christopher Tyree who was seriously injured while performing in this infamous Broadway show. To be specific, he fell 30 feet into the orchestra pit when his tether failed to stop his fall mid-performance. Now, of course, he was replaced by an understudy for a while. Then the understudy got injured too, along with several cast members due to various issues with effects and wire work. After Christopher recovered from his injuries, he revealed that he had broken 4 ribs, 3 vertebrae, fractured his skull, probably on a clarinet or something, and a radical fracture on his elbow, which that doesn't mean what I thought it did. Radical fracture, dude! Despite initially wanting to rejoin the cast, he ultimately left the show altogether and was replaced by Richard Kovac, who actually sued this production for the injuries he and others sustained while performing. Number 3, Jeremy Renner. Hawkeye is a very underappreciated character in the MCU. There, I said it. This dude's a father, and for those of you who haven't seen his Disney Plus show, he is now a mentor, and his wife might be a super spy. Now so that's pretty cool. Earlier this year, Jeremy was in the news for being trapped beneath a snowplow and hospitalized with a large number of internal injuries, but that's not because of a movie. The movie injury took place while filming the first Avengers. A lot like his co-stars, Jeremy tries to do his own stunts as often as possible to give the role a lot of authenticity, 3D, but while filming a scene for the Team Up movie, Renner tore a muscle in his ABC and had to take a break from filming for quite some time. Director Joss Whedon revealed in an interview with Hollywood Reporter that his stunt work was incredible and he was a very gifted performer. However, one day on set he just turned wrong and his whole body shut down. He was in enormous pain. The crew were forced to shut the sequence down and put production on pause. Now eventually he got back on his feet and continued to do his thing, reprising his role a ton of times, but the injury never really left his system. And if you haven't seen the Disney Plus show, go watch it. I am an advocate. It's a great show. Number 2, Zazie Beetz. Following her performance as Domino in Deadpool 2, the world became very familiar with Zazie Beetz. She had already been acting for quite some time before this, being known for her role on the hit series Atlanta, but this role really just skyrocketed her into the mainstream. Now, despite her on-screen character literally possessing the power of luck, her time off-screen was not so lucky. During a stunt involving a lot of things exploding and firing off left and right, she was struck by a rogue shell that left a massive scar on her chest. The elaborate fight scene that took place on a moving truck was already intense, but the strike caused her to pass out and for production to halt. Despite passing out, she returned to the set to continue the film, and when she speaks about the incident in public, she just claims that the scar is a souvenir from battle. And at number 1, Dylan O'Brien. Maze Runner franchise may no longer be pumping out sequels to its original from 2014, but that may not be exclusively the fault of ticket sales. In 2016, while filming the sequel to The Maze Runner, Dylan was involved in an on-set incident that actually almost landed him in a coffin. During a scene where Dylan was riding a motorcycle, he fell into a slide and fell off his bike, leaving him with a concussion, brain trauma, and a massive facial fracture. Due to the injuries, the film had halted production and release was delayed. Dylan eventually returned to the set and finished the job, but the trauma still lingers with him to this day. Before filming the third entry in the franchise, Dylan took a break from acting altogether to take time for himself, to heal. Ever since that day, Dylan has been apprehensive about filming any kind of action sequence, and for good reasons. And those are the celebrities who permanently jacked their bodies up after a role. Thank you for stopping me on the screen today. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like down below and follow the channel for more celebrity content each and every day. See you next time.